Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are y'all doing on this wild and crazy Monday? Not so much, well, I don't know, maybe in the real world. I wouldn't know because I've been busy watching Big Brother the whole time. Now, I got to say this. Unfortunately, I had to work today and I knew there was so much crazy stuff going on inside the house. So work comes first. I've been trying to catch up. I'm going to rely on y'all a little bit to fill me in. I've done what I can, but God, what a crazy few days. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live, and certainly welcome to what I intend to have a long discussion on Big Brother this evening. Yeah, if y'all got other topics you want to talk about, snow skiing in Breckenridge or something, I guess we can do it. But I figure we're going to be talking a little bit of Big Brother this evening. And I'm all here for it. I'm so ready. So get your questions, get your opinions ready. All right, before we go any further, if you're new to the show, well, no, if you're old to the show as well and haven't done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can turn on notifications so that you get an alert whenever I drop a morning recap or I start this show every Monday night. So you'll be up to speed on that. And while you're out there, they tell me those thumbs up are important. Y'all know I'm all about the thumbs up. So always appreciate that as well. Please consider subscribing to the channel. It does mean a lot. So I would appreciate that. And I almost forgot. And let me start with the big old SKD 143. Yeah, I'm not ever going to do that. SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV. I love Big Brother, and I love Big Brother and reality TV fans, especially those of you who join me either live on Monday nights or watching this on replay, either one. Thank you. It's just a big welcome, open family, and I love hanging with you guys every Monday evening. All right, with that being said, let me go through. I'm not going to go through as long a list of howdies and hellos as I normally do because we got a lot to talk about. And it's such a crazy couple of weeks. I just love this show. All right, Patricia Miller. Howdy, Patricia. How are you doing? Lee Strike as well. Howdy, Lee. Marshall Davis. Brian Hoster. Brian, howdy, sir. Marilyn Sutherland, VIP Lady. Tina Warner. Mark Taylor. Karen Hammer. I love seeing all these names out here. Mike Johnson. Marion. Amanda Lowe. Hey, Amanda. Deborah Dammeyer. Patricia Miller. I think I got you, Patricia. I'll do it again. Nellie. Dan Cockerham. Kendra. Desiree Watts. LT Price. Angie Hung. Colleen. Anna Martina. Martins. I'm sorry about that. Ed. Cindy. Hi, Cindy. I'm glad to have you on board. Let me know. Are you still planning to head out to LA and watch some of this? You could be seeing some interesting evictions the way this season is going. What do y'all think about it? I'm going to get to your questions. I'm just amazed. How many people are just trying to get themselves out of the game this season? It blows me away. All right, Karen Hummer is saying, great recap today. The house is all over the place. Thank you. Y'all know, I try to keep my morning recaps to about 20 minutes or so. That's my goal every time I do it. I think this morning it was 40 minutes. There were so many conversations going on. I thought after Angela's punishment, most people stayed up all night long cheering her on. I thought, all right, surely these house guests are going to go to bed. They'll call it an early evening. No, they're talking all night long and so much about Leah go up, Angela go up. So, like I said, if you're new to this, there are going to be spoilers tonight. So you may have to do a little bit of that if you don't know what's going on beyond the episode, because we're certainly going to talk a lot about beyond the episode. But yeah, no, there's so many conversations going on. It still led to about a 40-minute recap, just trying to hit the highlights. So thank you for that. Yes, the house guests are all over the house. There's just house guests that are sabotaging their game for some reason. Angela, some people just don't do well without any sleep, right? Angela was HOH. It seemed like she was on edge and not getting enough sleep. And next thing you know, she's coming down the stairs yelling at Matt and crazy eyes, that whole deal. Well, now she does her punishment. Here is Angela doing this punishment. Everyone is cheering her on. Everyone is feeling, oh, we're so happy for Angela. She has done such an amazing job of integrating her back into the house after a bad week. And yet she just wants to grab that hand grenade, and instead of pitching it next door, she just wants to walk into a room and hold it up over her hand and wait for it to go off, because it seems like that's what she did. The way she came in and just told a whole bunch of, seems like just random people who happened to be in that room, that she was ready to get Tucker out the door. Well, of course, it all backfired on her. And as much goodwill and good faith as she seemed to generate, it's all gone. Now it seems like she's an easy choice to get out the door. I don't think T-Core would have put her up if she hadn't done what she did. T-Core saying she's in my alliance. I think Leah would have gone up instead, but Angela just had to, she had to treat this like it's a sprint instead of a marathon, which I know people say all the time. It's true. You can't fix everything. You can't do everything in a single week. I think Angela saw T-Core and Chemo and Rubina. Well, not Rubina. She was on the block, but I think she saw the flip that sent Cedric home, and she decided that she was going to do her own flip. I don't know. She just got tired of the status quo. It's amazing. What an amazing show. Watching all these different people with such different mental strategies and wills and characteristics go at it against each other. Incredible. All right, a few questions. Can y'all tell I'm a little passionate about this stuff going on right now? Yeah, but I am here to get your questions, so let me do that. Mark Taylor is saying, when is the best time to release Tucker? What a good question. And who is your choice to go home on Thursday? All right, let me answer the second part first, because it really depends on what are you going for. Are you going for the person who brings the most drama, or the person that you feel like's playing the best game, or what is your motivation for keeping one person or the other? Let me say this. I feel like Mackenzie has potentially not gotten as good a chance to play. I'm not going to say fair, because there's nothing fair about this game, and it is what it is. But I feel like Mackenzie really has been a lone wolf. Now, some of that's her fault. Some of it's her fault for hanging as much as she did with Matt that first week and getting reputation for being with him. And but I'd like to see what Mackenzie can do if she can find a place to land. So I'm maybe not quite ready for her to go home yet. Plus, she's an Aggie and she's from Houston. So a little bias from my part on that. Chelsea, of the three that are on the block, one of them's going home. I think Chelsea's playing the best game. She was in a fantastic position. She maybe got a little too attached with Brooklyn, but she just ended up suddenly falling out of grace and being on the kind of the underdog side a little bit. But I think Chelsea's played a pretty good game. I got a lot of respect for the way she's played so far. So I'm not sure I want to see Chelsea go home just yet. If you're talking about pure drama and chaos, though, between Angela and Tucker, what a season this has been. But if it comes right down to it, and let me put it this way, if I was in the house, I'm probably getting rid of Angela, just because I'm a very logical player, strategic player, I think. And to have someone that can pivot so much from an emotional standpoint from day to day, it would just stress me out. It would drive me crazy if I was in that house, not knowing when Hurricane Angela is going to strike next. So for that reason alone, I would probably vote her out. And I think I'm okay with them voting her out as a viewer as well. She's had a few blow-ups. We're not ever going to forget Angela. Take Frenchie from a few seasons back and just amp that up by a couple of exponential factors. And that's what you've got in Angela. We'll be talking about Angela for a long time, but I just don't see her getting to the end because she's too reactive to things. She wasn't wrong. She was on the bottom of that alliance, and that was her big thing. She told Rubina that, oh, I know the two of y'all are together. Why would he ever take me? Well, that could be true. I know I was at the bottom of the alliance, so why should I stick with the alliance? Well, that could be true too. But the way you fix that isn't by just pitching a hand grenade in and looking for all mass casualties. No, you fix it by trying to figure out how you can do an end around. You start planting seeds, or you start looking at other landing spots. You realize that there's other people who also aren't in that group that you may be able to align with. You don't just come in and say, I want the strongest, baddest, meanest person out of the house. And hey, y'all just come along with me and do it. There wasn't enough preparation for. So yeah, I'm okay with her going if that was the case. Now, the first question, when do you get rid of someone like Tucker? Am I the person to say during my season we had Jackson Mickey who lasted to the very end? It probably depends on what your relationship is with Tucker. If you feel like you can ride his coattails for a little bit longer, if you're Cam or Joseph, heck, let him go a little bit longer. There's going to be weeks where he does not win HOH. And then you take him out at that point in time. Look at Michael from a few seasons back, a comp beast. Eventually they stumble. Eventually they fall and the target's on the back and you send them out the door. In the meanwhile, ride those coattails as long as you can. I did that with Jackson Mickey for a long time and they just didn't quite work out at the end. But I think you can do that with pretty good success. Now, here's the other thing. I would not try to cut Tucker loose right now while you've got the veto and the BBAI arena, because that's two opportunities for him to come back. He did not get veto, but he still has a chance on Thursday night if he wants to play and compete. He better. He still has a chance to pull himself off the block. I would definitely not be planning anything until you get rid of that extra opportunity to pull yourself off. Now, come Thursday night, if he's on the block, if he doesn't make it and it's him versus Angela, I guess him versus Angela or Chelsea, the one, and I'm not riding his coattails, yeah, maybe I cut him loose and say, good riddance to you. But otherwise, I'd probably hold him a little bit longer. Patricia Miller is saying, Tucker better win AIBB Arena or he's going home. I think you're probably right. And maybe that's why he's so upset right now and so despondent. Man, Tucker's just so like, Tucker's pretending like he's chemo, the way he's all depressed and all that. Ken T is saying, I'm hearing Tucker wants to throw the AI comp to Angela. That's what I have heard as well. I heard he was going to throw it. I didn't hear necessarily to Angela. If Chelsea's getting ready to win it, does he try to beat Chelsea, or is that only if Angela looks like she's got the inside track to win it? I actually could kind of see him doing that. And if he does, and he lets Angela win, and it's Chelsea versus Tucker, I think I probably sent Tucker home at that point. Angela handled it poorly, but she did have a good comment at one point where she said, this may be our only chance to get him off. He may not be on the block a lot more after this. And I agree with that. He's been quick to volunteer to go on the block because he's so confident that he can win, pull himself off with AIBB Arena and all that. Once that goes away, he's not going to keep volunteering to go on the block when he knows he's only got one chance at that veto to win it. And when there's opportunities, I just think that Angela's right. We've already seen him very reluctantly volunteering for T-Core to go on the block. I think those times are past. I think he may let Cam win one if he can throw it to him, if he feels like he's protected enough. But yeah, I think Tucker could be in trouble against Chelsea, against Angela. If the two of them are up there, I don't know. It depends. If he goes up there and says, hey, send me home, keep Angela, I think I'm probably going to say, fine, go for it. You're out of here. We'll get Angela next week. Y'all can be the first two in jury, and y'all can hang out and act like y'all are best friends. Of course, would they be? I think they would be. Tucker came over. He gave Angela a hug today and said, well, at least you're honest, and it's just a game. I still love you and all that. I think they would be okay once they got out of the house and away from the stresses and such. But they could be the first two in the jury house the way they're playing the game, which is such a waste. Angela didn't have to be at the top of the pecking order. Now we know that T-Core and Chemo already were saying, we don't want Joseph. We don't want Angela in this 6th Avenue group. So yes, there were some issues that Angela absolutely had to deal with, but she probably didn't have to deal with it this week. I think Leah would have gone up in Angela's place. I think Leah, or probably more likely Mackenzie, would have gone home this week. Next week is a whole new week. You don't know who's going to be in power. You can't solve all the problems of the Big Brother house in a single week. It changes too much. And I just think Angela is too reactional or too spontaneous. Maybe that's it. If you're not there's some weeks in the Big Brother house where you're trying to make advances. You're trying to create targets. You're trying to improve your lot in the game. There's some weeks where you're just trying to survive. Lord knows I did a lot of that. This was the week for Angela probably just to try to survive and wait for other situations where she could maybe exert some influence, things like that. She was on the right track, and she just threw it all up in the air and said, see what happens. Crazy day. All right. Patricia Miller saying, glad veto was prize and punishments. Looking forward to Wednesday. I did I counted one time. I did like 26 competitions while I was in the Big Brother house during my season. There are only 2 veto competitions I didn't participate in. Both of them gave away prizes. The first one I didn't compete in. Sam won a trip to Fiji. Pretty cool. They went and had a blast, in fact. Second one was the reward and punishment contest that I didn't get to participate in because I just wasn't picked. Now, it worked out fine because Jessica won that veto and sent Jack out the door, which is what I wanted. Lord knows I wanted that. But yeah, I didn't get to participate in that one either. I don't know. Do y'all know? Has anyone ever said what the competition was? I just didn't hear anyone on the feeds talking about what it was. During my season, people were spinning around and launching darts in the air. It's different a little bit every single season. And I just haven't heard anything about what type of contest it was. But knowing who the winners are or not, Tucker gave T-Core apparently $5,000. He could have taken the $5,000, given her the punishment. Can you picture T-Core having to run back and forth wearing a blue skull cap and leotard? They probably would let her do it like a crochet blue skull cap, right? Just, for the brand and all that. But her having to get up at all hours of the night, look through dictionaries and encyclopedias. That's a book we used to read that had all kinds of information in it a long time ago. Can you picture her having to do that and talking at the top of her lungs, loudly giving out the information? I have a feeling you'd still hear a lot of mm-hms out of T-Core, but no, she was facing that. It didn't happen. Tucker, out of the goodness of his heart, I suppose, gave her the $5,000, took the punishment for himself. That I mentioned on my show a day or two ago. I don't know. I wonder if Tucker, being the egotist that he is, realized that having a punishment gets you a lot more screen time and a lot more attention than winning $5,000 does. And I wonder if in his mind he thought, well, the cost of $5,000 to get that much attention and focus and everything on me will pay off in the end. And maybe that's why he did it. Maybe he's just being nice to her. But I have a feeling it's just Tucker always wanting to be at the center of anything and everything that's happening in that house. Well, he's gotten it. He certainly did his punishment and all of that. But yeah, I don't remember where we were starting with the question. But yeah, I don't know. All right, next question. Marianne saying, how would you rank this house top, middle, and bottom? Oh, gosh, you're putting the pressure on me. I told you I think Chelsea's playing a good game. I think Quinn is playing a good game. I think Joseph is playing an okay game. He better be careful and not get too full of himself. I think he's playing an okay game. I'll put Angela down near the bottom. Leah, I'm going to put her down near the bottom only because she's not doing enough to drive the narrative and change the game. She is as much a floater as you could possibly get, and that may help her survive to at least the jury phase, but she's not going to win if she continues doing this. Having said that, maybe it's a slow burn. Maybe she's got a lot of guys paying attention to her and feeling very friendly with her. Maybe she takes advantage of that and she builds up momentum as she goes through. But right now, I'll put her low. See, Cam, I got to put Cam low. I forget he's in the house sometimes. So he's doing more this week. But now that he's won the veto, what helps Cam is the fact that now it's just with Brooklyn gone, it's Cam and Chelsea kind of as a duo. And so I think he's feeling more comfortable working with her and vice versa. But I'll still call him low. Who else do we even have in this house? Tucker, I'll call him medium, only because he's done such a great job. But every time he wins one of these things, every time he gets to be a focus of attention, I just think it paints a target on his back bigger and bigger and bigger. Mackenzie, I would call her low, working her way up. I think she's done a decent job this week of going from low to, I'll call her middle at this point in time. And I think that's about everyone, right? Did I forget anyone? Rabina, I don't know. I think Leah's the one who pointed out, said Rabina can't play her own game as long as Tucker is in the house. And I think that's probably true. I don't know what Rabina is capable of because she just seems to hang around Tucker. I don't know. I think there's more. She's so friendly with T-Core and Chemo that I don't know. I think I'd call her middle game. T-Core and Chemo, I'm going to say the same thing. I think they're a strong duo when they're together, but sometimes because they are so together, they're not doing enough to build relationships with other people in the house. What is Chemo going to do if T-Core goes home within the next few weeks, or vice versa? I just feel like they're the Bobbsey twins. If either one of them disappears, the other one's just not going to know what to do. It's going to be a cutting off your arm or something. I think they need to branch out just a little bit. Chemo's done it perhaps a little bit more than T-Core. I see both of them trying to. They just still spend so much time together. All right, let's see. Ma. Hey, Ma, how are you doing? Band practice. I appreciate you taking time out from band practice last week to come in and hang out with the show. Ma saying, will you join the Mawcast one day? I would be honored to. We'll talk. Tell me when, and then hopefully not during Big Brother season because it's a little hectic around here. But yeah, I'd be honored. I'd do whatever I can to support you, Ma, without hesitation. That would be so much fun. Yeah, just we'll talk. I'm happy to do so. And I'm glad you're right here. All right, Rita Coase is saying, what do you think of T-Core and Tucker's talk in HOH? Which which one? The one this afternoon? There was a lot of talk of Tucker basically just kind of calming T-Core down. And again, I missed some of the conversations earlier because of work and things like that. But I guess maybe T-Core was worried that she's blown everything up because Tucker did not want Angela on the block. Even with her blowing up his game and all of that, he still didn't want her on the block. He still wanted Leah on the block. Because here's the thing. Tucker may be upset with Angela, but I also feel like he thinks that she'll have her blow-ups, but he can still control her, that she'll then pull back and feel that much more guilty and be that much more beholden to Tucker in some ways. I think he feels like he can control her, whereas Leah, Tucker sees her getting the attention from so many of these guys. I think Tucker is a lot less comfortable about his ability to manipulate and control Leah as compared to Angela. So he did not want Angela on the block. Even after all of this happened, he wanted Leah on the block instead, and that didn't work out. And so I guess T-Core was upset, thought that Tucker was upset with her. I get it all. So Tucker comes up and, Tucker does what Tucker does. Say, look, it's just a game. And I think he said, I respect you for holding your ground, doing what you thought was important. I like all the words that came out of his mouth. That's the way I would play the game. Hey, and I know I told Nicole that when I was on the block versus Kat, I said, look, if you think it benefits your game to send me out the door and keep Kat, I'm not going to be happy about what happens to me, but I'm not going to be upset with you. We play the game to further ourselves, and I get it, and it doesn't change how we feel about each other at all. We're cool if you want to do that. I hope you don't, but we're cool if you want to do that. And I feel like Tucker is kind of the same way with not just T-Core, but a lot of people in the house. Speaking, how come Tucker still can't say T-Core? It's not that hard. T-Core, I think, is how he says it. It's not that hard, but he did try to really make her feel better, and I really respect that in him. My question is, why does he need to do that? Now I'm just going to say T-Core on that. T-Core is the HOH. This should be her moment. Whether it goes perfectly to plan or things maybe don't quite according to plan, this is still your week. Own it. Be proud of it. At the end of the day, it's just a game. It's not worth crying over the way she was doing. You haven't killed anyone. Your life is going to go on as usual as soon as this summer is over. So don't sweat it as much as you seem to sweat it, T-Core. I thought she was more depressed than she needs to be. I thought the same thing with Rabina. There's a few people in this house, Chemo. There's people who just are taking this game too seriously and forget that this is just television entertainment, mass media entertainment for us viewers. And you just happen to get a nice little cash prize at the end, but you're here just as cannon fodder for us to watch and cheer on or cheer against, whatever. It's not that serious. But you get in there and the stresses build up, and sometimes you take it out on other people like Angela did. Sometimes you take it out on yourself by self-questioning everything that you do. Sometimes you just have to take a breath and chill. Remember, we've got another 50-something days in there. We got a long time to go. All right. Tommy Braskett. Hey, Tommy, saying, can't believe that someone else wants to self-evict. I know it. Kenny wanted to self-evict. Cedric wanted to stay, but he still seemed to go out of his way to make sure that he didn't. Now we've got Angela just seeming to just throw herself into the sacrificial pit with her actions. And now we got Tucker saying, I'm not going to stick around. Now, here's the thing. Tucker has said that if he doesn't go to the end, he's not going to the jury house. I hope that's not the case. But the way he's playing it right now, does he think that they haven't reached jury yet for whatever reason because it hadn't been announced? What if Tucker says, yeah, forget it. I'm not competing. I'm going to let Angela have the AI. Send me out the door on the vote Thursday. I'll show y'all. I'm not even going to campaign. Vote me out, unanimous vote. Send me out the door. And he does it. And then Julie Chen says, well, Tucker, congratulations. You're the first jury member. You'll be spending the next 50 something days in the jury house. Is that really what he wants? Really? Or is he thinking that maybe if he's going to go right now, because he's just tired of it. He wants to go back home to his dog Frizzle or whatever its name is. Izzy, I think. I don't know. But you don't give up. It's just like in real life. You never give up. You fight. You realize that the next day is going to be a different day, and you move on. Yeah, these people that are wanting to self-evict drive me a little bit bonkers. Now, I'm hoping it's just the heat of the moment. Once he gets a chance to cool down, he'll rethink this and he'll be good to go. Everyone sometimes just needs to take a breath in there. Yeah, don't self-evict. Don't ever self-evict. If anyone watching this show ever self-evicts, know that I'm coming after you. You better have a dang good reason for self-evicting. And if it's mental health, I get it. Other reasons, not so much. All right. Lynn Speckard is saying they need to get Tucker out while they can. I think a lot of people think that. And that is the problem with Tucker playing the game as hard as he did and getting himself so much attention in the very beginning. Yeah, it makes you look cool. Yeah, it turns around and earns you AI instigator votes and things like that. America loves Tucker. Some of America loves Tucker. A lot of America loves Tucker. It does all kinds of incredible things, but it's just a long season that you then have to survive. You remember Mike Holloway from Survivor? One survivor, but for him, seems like the last 2/3 of the season, he had to win every single immunity idol because otherwise they were going to send him out the door. That's a tough way to win the game of Survivor or Big Brother, knowing that the first time you falter could be your downfall. I mean, that's tough. So yeah, I think there's a lot of people that feel like maybe Tucker needs to go while they have the chance to do it. But then there's others like Joseph and Quinn, maybe not. I still don't think Quinn and Tucker are on the same page, but certainly Joseph, and Cam probably are thinking, we'll keep him a few more weeks at least, and then we'll boot him out the door. You always, if he provides protection, there's always that little birdie on your shoulder saying, let him ride for a couple more weeks. He's not coming after you. Deal with him winning the whole thing later. You got to deal with people that are actively coming after you, rather than someone that may be going after other people. So, but yeah, a lot of people think he needs to go right now, and I don't fault him for thinking that. I can certainly see the argument. All right, Lynn Gideon is saying, what kind of restrictions does the show have on what you can take into the house? Pretty restrictive. During my season, nothing battery powered, clippers, anything like that. Nothing sharp, no scissors or knives or ice picks or anything like that. Clothes were one of the big deals. You couldn't have any clothes that had logos. If they did have logos, they had to be below a certain size. Like shoes, you could have logos, but they had to be below a certain size. Shirts, you couldn't have anything like that. You could have shirts that had colleges on it, shirts that had, I think, military type stuff like the U.S. Marine Corps or something you can have like that. But I know they would not let me have a NASA shirt that I had that I really wanted to take in the house as part of my 50th anniversary of men landing on the moon. They said, no, NASA is a logo that's not allowed because we can't, it's too long to go through the government and get permission. What's government? I don't think you need to permission. And they took that from me. So certainly logos are restricted. I guess clothes that are considered risque, perhaps. I didn't really have to deal too much with that. I had 2 cowboy hats. I had this one, and I also had a straw cowboy hat because normally you wear straw cowboy hats in the summer. And so that was my plan. And this was just a backup. But the straw cowboy hat was white because, I like wearing white cowboy hats. Of course I do. Maybe next time I'll go with a black cowboy hat. But they said, no, it messes with the camera. It washes out the camera shots and all that. So I never was allowed to have my straw hat while I was in the house. Other restrictions, certainly no cell phones or communication devices of any sort. No money, no wallets, no photographs, nothing. I can't remember who it was. Someone in our house had a dollar bill that just accidentally somehow got left in their bag. And we saw that. And for a long time, just looking at the dollar, you can't, it's not like you can spend it inside the house. But just seeing the dollar just reminded us of a different world and outside the Big Brother house where regular life was still going on. But yeah, they're very restrictive. When you move in while you're in sequester, they check out all your clothes, pull away whatever doesn't meet their standards. And then when you go into the house, some of it you get back if they eventually test it and it's okay. Some of it you never see ever again. Well, until you're out of the house. So yeah, they're very, very restrictive. They search everything when you go in to the point of patting you down to make sure that you don't have a burner phone hidden somewhere like that. Yeah, call me Pablo Escobar. I got flip phones in both my shoes. Yeah, they check for everything. And they check on the way out as well to make sure you're not taking anything out of the house that you shouldn't be taking out of the house. All right, Angie Hung saying, why did T-Core nominate Angela and not Leah? If all of this stuff hadn't happened, I think she would have gone for Leah because T-Core kept saying, Chemo and T-Core talked about it, and T-Core was saying, if Angela wasn't part of my alliance, I think she'd be up in a heartbeat, and it would be easy to go after her. I mean, that's what I would do. But because she said, I kind of like Leah more, and I probably would just go for Angela. But she said, with Angela part of our alliance, am I going to blow up another alliance right now at this point in time? That plus Tucker putting pressure on her not to put up Angela. Chemo saying if you put up Angela, there's going to be a lot more blood on your hands. It's going to be a lot tougher to argue. Whereas Leah was an easy target. She could have said, look, Leah has never been on the block. We don't talk game together. Yeah, there's lots of things that you could say for Leah that she's not part of the alliance. Easy to justify, but she didn't do that. And I think it's just because of this blow up. I know T-Core's talking last night saying, regardless of what she said, she was talking to people outside our alliance about trying to flip on someone who is inside our alliance. And I think she just decided, because here's the other issue. T-Core and Chemo had talked and said, this Sixth Avenue group, we don't really like. T-Core is very vocal saying, I didn't want Angela in here. I didn't want Joseph in here. They just kind of showed up because they got thrown into the mix. And she's saying, I want it to be Tucker, or I want it to be you, Chemo, me, Chelsea, Cam, Quinn, and Rabina. That's who they want. They don't want, forget about Joe. They don't want Tucker, and they didn't want Angela necessarily in there. I may be getting the names confused as I talk through, but I think T-Core did not want Angela part of that group. And I think she saw this as an opportunity to get rid of Angela without all the rest of the alliance somehow saying that she was betraying the alliance, because she already flipped, right? She already took out Brooklyn, who theoretically was part of the 5 Points Alliance and all of that, and kind of flipped and betrayed and all kinds of words like that thrown towards T-Core and Chemo. I don't think she wanted to be blamed for doing that again. So now suddenly here's someone that's in her alliance that she doesn't want in the alliance. Well, what do? We just use this as an excuse to get Angela out. Once Angela's gone, then they can bring Quinn back in, who they'd rather have part of this alliance as well. And so I think that T-Core maybe just saw this as an opportunity to get rid of someone that she didn't want and bring in someone that she did want to work with going forward. I don't know that she anticipated Tucker being as upset as he was about the way it went down. And there's repercussions to everything you do. And Tucker can certainly be overbearing in a lot of ways if you don't go along with what he wants done. But yeah, I think that's why she did it. Just a reason, a good justification right now to get someone out that she didn't want to work with, that you may not have that same excuse a couple of weeks from now. And for all we know, T-Core may not get another chance to make a move like this. So I think that's what led her to make that decision, right or wrong. And I still don't know. I don't know if it's the right move or not. I guess we're going to find out here over the next week or two. But it certainly stirred the house up, didn't it? All right. What else do we have on here? Hannah Minky saying, does production favor people on purpose? I don't think so. Well, yeah, who am I to say? I don't know. Certainly during my season, I may have said, well, I feel like some of the competitions favor some people more so than other people, like me. There were certainly some comps where I wish they'd been different kind of competitions. that may have given me a few more advantages or less disadvantages. Does production favor some people? Jackson Mickey got a lot of watermelons during my season, which I always thought was interesting and all that. But no, I don't. I've heard a lot of production people say, and casting and everyone else saying, they don't really care who wins as long as they get good TV, right? So do they favor people, one person over another? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna take the high road and say I don't think so. Do they ever purposely create situations where there's more drama and more chaos created, either through twist or questions in the diary room, things like that? Sure, I can see that potentially happening because they are here to get ratings. How do you get ratings? You create crazy weeks like we've had for the past couple of weeks here in Big Brother. I haven't looked at the ratings. I think they're doing pretty well this season. So yeah, I just can't picture someone in production, the big wigs saying, "Oh, we really like this person. Let's make sure they don't go home." Now, having said that, if Tucker goes home this week, could there suddenly be an opportunity for a battle back and the chance to maybe get back in the house? Well, if they think it's going to increase ratings, then sure, I suppose so. But I think for the most part, yeah, I'm not going to accuse them of that without having a lot more evidence than I have. I think they just want good TV. All right, let me check this out real quick because I see a little notation here. Dr. Bose, I was just guessing it was going to be out there before your name was going to be out here before I did. Yet again, thank you so much for the support for this the stamp. I do appreciate it. Dr. Bose is saying, Cliff, were you ever reprimanded by production? Yeah. Oh, twice. 2 times that I can remember. One time after we got the backyard back, my clothes needed to be washed. I was ready to do some laundry. I go in the backyard, I turn on the machine, and I realized that they didn't hook up the washing machine discharge hose into the right little hole in the back of the wall. So the water was just spilling out all over the ground. Well, look, I've done a little handyman work in my life. I look behind the washer, immediately realize that all you got to do is take this one little hose and plug it into one tiny little hole, and we aren't going to flood the backyard. And so I hollered out at production, said, "Hey, production, I'm going to do that." And as soon as I started to move the washer to kind of go behind it, I heard, "Stop that." It's like, come on, I'll do it real quick before they stop me. I tried it again. I heard, "Cliff, stop that." Or Cliff, cut it out. They called me on it. And so I stopped. Said, all right, fine. I just let the water go everywhere, but I'm going to do my load of laundry first. I don't know if it's because they thought that I was going to electrocute myself in the back, or it's California. Maybe there's some kind of union rule that only officially unionized pipe inserters can put drain pipes in the holes. I don't know. But yeah, they called me out on that. I was like, all right, whatever. And then there's one time after Zingbot where there were people upset. Holly was very upset at hers. And I said something about, hey, no, just so you know, they didn't mention about, I don't remember what it was. They didn't mention about roadkill or something while I was in there talking about it. And I heard production say, "You are not allowed to talk about production." And I was trying to be sympathetic to Holly. I said, I don't even care. I just want you to know that. Cliff, come to the diary room. And I got called in and they said, hey, there's a reason we have these rules and you can't be violating them. You can't talk about production. And we heard you whisper that I don't care. I said, yeah, I know. I whisper in my breath. I do care. I understand the rules. I'm not arguing with you. It was just me venting some steam. And I absolutely agree with you. And that was it. And they said, all right, just get out of here. Just stop doing that, Cliff. But yeah, so they'll reprimand you if you do something like that. But for the most part, yeah, those were the 2 things. I may have tried to change a light bulb one time or fix a loose circuit, and they didn't like that either. No messing with electricity or plumbing while you're in the Big Brother house, I found out. All right, Fiery Ninja Dog. Hey, Fiery Ninja Dog, I like the name. Who do you think is playing the best game right now? Oh, am I going to go out on a limb and say Quinn? He has recovered. I really thought Quinn was in a lot of trouble, and yet somehow he seems like a lot of people like him, whether they're working with him or against him. I think Quinn is doing pretty well, and I think Chelsea is doing pretty well. I'm going to name one of those 2. It's kind of my odds-on favorites right now for the game they're playing and for who I maybe could expect to see towards the very end. Now, Chelsea's not part of some of these majorities, but there's a lot of game left. So I'll go with those two. All right. Terry is saying, would Angela go to jury? Yeah, I think she would. Would she? I mean, as opposed to self-evicting or something, I think so. And then Molly Greathouse is saying, wondering if it's a 7-person jury again. Maybe. I don't like 7-person juries. I like the bigger juries, but CBS and Endemol and Fly on the Wall Productions and all the people involved with Big Brother, they all have budgets. And if you go 7-person jury instead of 9, that means a couple more weeks where you don't have to be paying rent on what I'm sure is an incredibly expensive home up in the hills of Beverly Hills somewhere for jury house. So yeah, I guess I could see that. I hope not, but we'll see. Terry is saying, would Angela go to jury? I think she would. I think she would have fun in some ways. I mean, she'd miss her family and kids and all. I get all that, but I think in some ways she would enjoy being in jury house and every week getting to welcome some new family member to the house. Oh, welcome. We're so sorry, but we love you and you've played a great game. And then Angela being able to critique everyone's gameplay from the safety, from the comfort of the jury house where you can't be held, where you're supposed to talk. Oh, he did that, or oh my gosh, and act surprised or shocked or whatever when people show up. I could see her playing along. I think Angela would do that. I don't think Angela is going to give up. I don't think she's going to let herself be blackballed. And that's what happens if you don't go to jury house. You're basically not fulfilling your contract. And CBS will they'll wash their hands of you. We'll never be talking to you again, Angela. So I don't think she'll do that. Hey, she may have more Price's Rights or not Deal or No Deal. What? Let's Make It Deals in her future. So she didn't want to burn CBS. Yeah, no, I think she'd go to jury. And I think she would be fine with it. If nothing else, she'll get enough sleep and not have to eat slop and all that. I think she'll stay in a much more level mood while she's doing that. Yeah, I think she would. All right, Bev77. Do you think Tucker is ready to go home? Today, yes. Everyone has points in that house where you just say, I'm done with it. Did I have them? Maybe. There were times or two where I thought I wasn't going to give up, but I know there's a time or two where I thought, well, if I go, whatever, as long as I give it a good showing, as long as I know personally and inside myself that I gave it 100%, I can accept if I go home because there may not be anything else I can do about it. So there's times like that where I think everyone feels that way. Tucker right now, I think he's just tired of it. He's not the kind of person that seems like that doesn't like getting his way. He was feeling so comfortable because everything was going his way in the beginning that now he's having to face the reality that sometimes it doesn't always go like that. And I don't think he's handled it well. As I said a little earlier, I think it's just temporary. I think he'll get a good night's sleep. And maybe it's just him feeling betrayed by Angela. Rubina was feeling like she got betrayed by a lot. There's a lot of people who feel like they've been betrayed by others in this house. And it hurts sometimes when you discover that maybe someone you really liked, maybe was talking against you and around you and all that. So I think he's feeling a little hurt right now. He wears his emotions on his shoulder, good or bad. But hopefully he takes his own advice. It's just a game. He keeps on playing and he moves on and he's not wanting to go home here soon because you don't give up. But for right now, yeah, I think and now here's a good question. Is he ready to go home or is he just giving us a sad sack routine because he thinks it's going to somehow buy him some favor or something? Joseph went into solitude for 24 hours. And I know he's a huge fan. I'm truly, absolutely waiting for him to come out and do Dan's funeral. I heard a little mention of Joseph's funeral was discussed earlier today. I don't know if that came from Joseph or someone else, but maybe Tucker's beating him to the punch. Maybe Tucker is doing Tucker's funeral, and it's just a little preemptive strike to keep himself alive. I don't think so, though. I think he's just feeling a little bit down today, and hopefully that changes tomorrow. All right, let's see. Shelby you saying, why are they letting them nap so much this season? I don't know. They sure didn't let us nap any. They do seem to get a lot more opportunities to just rest their eyes a little bit. They're all wearing the mirrored sunglasses, and we did the same thing. I wore my baseball cap and sunglasses inside the house. It never worked for me because unfortunately I snore, and it's hard to say that you're just meditating while you're snoring at the same time. So yeah, they caught me every single time. But it does seem like they let them sleep a lot more. Now, when they were all up all night long cheering Angela on, I give them some slack when that happens. That's fair enough. But just normal days, Tucker especially. Someone asked earlier, does production favor certain players? No, but I do feel like Tucker and T-Core both have gotten more opportunities than some of the other people in the house to rest their eyes for extended periods of time between 10 and 10 when you aren't supposed to be doing that. And they haven't gotten called out on it nearly as much as it seems like we did during our season, which makes it tough for someone who does overnight recaps, because when you get to nap all day, you're fine staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning, which is 7 o'clock Houston time. And it makes it a little difficult on some of us who watch the live feeds. Man, I'm all for Big Brother from 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You don't close your eyes. You don't get to blink. Your eyes, you better be wide-eyed open, staring the whole time. Pump you full of coffee, whatever it takes. You stay awake for 12 hours. So then maybe you go to bed at a decent hour in the evenings, and we all get to bed at a decent hour as well. But yeah, they aren't really pushing that rule so much this season, it doesn't seem like. Last couple of seasons. Last season, it was the same way, I feel like. All right, let's see. 88 Cam is saying, hate that everyone is focused on not hurting feelings. It's crybaby Big Brother, not Big Brother. You're right. It's baby brother. It's not Big Brother. It's baby brother going on. I think Joseph said that just this evening. You're right. It's so many feelings. And I saw someone, did y'all see, I think it was on the Sunday night episode, the TV episode, Angela's, I'm going up. I'm going up. What are you talking about? I'm going up. And then I saw someone that compared that to Christy in my season, who just suddenly, oh, I'm going up. I'm going Brussels sprout. I didn't. Yeah, people just get stressed out. Next thing you know, they're crying, and Lord knows, I would be in there saying, "Oh God, just stop! It's just a game. Stop crying." I didn't, when I stabbed you in the back, it wasn't a literal stab in the back. Yeah, there's a lot of people that seem very focused on not hurting each other's feelings. There's a lot of people in the house this season that seem very focused on what they consider to be fair or not fair. Was it Leah that said something about how she just didn't think it would be fair for her to be expected to go into an AI BB arena and compete against Mackenzie and Tucker, because those two are so athletic and everything, and it just wouldn't be fair to put someone that's not athletic like herself against those two. Well, it's not about being fair, Leah. That's part of the strategy, and it's the same way with feelings also. You just suck it up, Buttercup, and move on. And that's probably, is that callous of me and all that? No, if I was in the house and I see someone crying and really feeling bad about it, I did it during my season. I was up trying to calm Christy down, and Lord knows, Kimmy and Nicole, there were a lot of people in our season who spent a lot of time crying, and I empathized with them because I knew what kind of stress we were all under. But you just have to keep things in life in perspective, and sometimes it gets hard to do it in a house. And sometimes it just takes a good night's sleep and a good meal that's not involving slop, and things get better. But you just have to survive until that point in time. Real life and the Big Brother world, both. The same advice carries over to both. There's always a new day. There's always changes that are taking place. You can't get too focused on the here and now when you got the tomorrows still waiting for you. I'll get off my soapbox. All right. Patty is saying, if you were HOH, who would you put up? This week, it all depends on what side of the fence I was on. Who would I put up? I would, you're talking pre-jury, potentially. There is still, they don't know if there's going to be a battle back or not. So you got to be a little careful. I don't know that I would necessarily be making a big move unless, like if I'm Mackenzie, maybe I'm going to try to make a big move against Tucker or someone else, just thinking I've got to do something to shake up the house and get some people heading my direction. So if I'm Mackenzie, maybe I'm making a big move. But if I'm chemo, I'm just trying to keep the status quo. I'm trying to probably pick people that aren't going to come after me if I put them on the block and they survive, that may still have bigger targets and come after other people. And who would that be? Leah. I think I would Unless I thought I could rope in Leah and get her on my side, I would probably put up Leah because I don't think people would be too offended with that. Uh, Probably who else? I'm trying to think Joseph or Quinn. I'd be trying to work with Joseph and Quinn if I was in that house. I think I would just find myself bonding with them a little bit. So probably not the two of them. Um, Maybe, of course, if I'm Chemo, I guess I'm not going to put up Chemo. I don't know. I don't think I'd go after Chemo and T-Core because you go after one, the other one has a vengeance for you. So I'd probably do Leah and maybe T-Core and Chemo. I don't know. That's a hard question to ask or to answer because I just don't know. But in terms of the type of person, it would be someone that I didn't feel like there was going to be a lot of blowback. I would not be looking for a lot of drama if I felt like I was in a good position in the house. If I felt like I'm on the outside looking in, if I'm Chelsea, for example, then I may be trying to shake things up a little bit by going after maybe not the top target in Tucker, maybe, but maybe if I'm Chelsea, I'm going after T-Core and Chemo, I think, just because I feel like they're so solid with one another and you could really strike a blow against the other side if you put one of them up. I may have to think on that a little bit. That's a good question. All right, let's see. Misfire. Hey, Misfire, how you doing? What do you think of Tucker's punishment outfit? I like it. Tommy Braskett saying, think he's getting tired of the punishment. Well, the one thing he's got going for him is these punishments, they tend to do a lot more of it for the first 48, 72 hours or so. And then they slack up a little bit because they want to get all the clips that they can show on the episodes and all that. And then afterwards, they do it just every once in a while just to keep you on your toes. What do I think of his punishment outfit? I kind of like it. I think it's one of the better looking unitards. If I was in the house, I'd be okay wearing that as compared to some of these punishment uniforms we've seen over the years. All right. It's a lot better than Cody and Jessica having to dress like frogs and drop little lily pads around to wherever they go. During my season, the punishment was Tommy being dressed up with a giant red cone head, rocket head type thing and having to run around the house yelling, I'm traveling at the speed of sound, the speed of light, the speed of smell. Stuff smelled so bad. And having to run through all the rooms yelling and flashing lights or doing these smells and all that. The worst part for Tommy's punishment wasn't his leotard, but that huge cone on his head was incredibly heavy. And it really started hurting his neck because he was constantly having to do this and getting headaches and all. That was a tough costume. Tucker's with that little blue skull cap, I like that. I think that's fine. Now, here's what's funny. After Big Brother, you get a memento box after the season's over where they send you a lot of the costumes you wore and the mementos, whatever they are, that had something to do with your house, hide and go veto cards, things like that. So I'm sure Tucker is going to get that unitard with a blue skull cap, which is pretty cool. Is Angela going to get a box that's filled with nothing but 1,000 neon green ping pong balls? Would that not be funny? If she thinks that she's going to get all these costumes and all that, and all she gets is a box full of nothing but ping pong balls, and then you could follow it up with another box with her actual mementos. But I think that'd be kind of funny. Maybe cruel, but I think it'd be kind of funny. But no, I like his costume. I think the punishment, I would kill. Maybe this is too strong. I would be very happy to have a punishment that involved me looking through a bunch of books for trivia information and other information. I would take twice as long as it was needed to answer every one of those questions because I would be reading as much as I could before someone called me out. I can see it now. They'd say, Cliff, you haven't answered the very basic question that we ask. It's been 30 minutes. What are you doing? I don't know. I'm just up here looking through my books and seeing what I can learn. I wonder if I could look up Big Brother or something while I was up there. But no, I would love that kind of punishment because I was to the point of reading the back of cereal boxes and makeup containers and anything else that just had words, just because I was so desperate to read something and exercise my brain just a little bit. So yeah, I like the punishment. I like the costume. I like what he's having to do. I think there's been a whole lot worse than that so far. All right, we're going running towards the end. So real quick, I'll answer a few more. Ken T is saying, a cast member from last season said his family and friends had to sign an NDA for permission to talk about them. Did you have to do that? Oh, yeah. You have to. Every person that you're going to talk about in the house has to sign an NDA, or else when you start talking about them, the feeds will cut away. Sometimes that's why we lose our feeds, is because someone starts bringing up someone that did not sign off on that. Yeah, I had everyone that showed up, which is tough because you're not supposed to tell anyone. But I finally I can't remember, a couple of weeks before I got snatched, maybe it was around Easter time or so. I grabbed the whole family and said, look, this is really weird, but I need y'all to sign these NDAs. And I know one of my nephews thought I was going on Worst Cooks in America. I don't know why he thought that. Another one thought we were going on Family Feud. I don't know why he thought that. But yeah, they all had to sign the NDAs and all of that. Now, since I had a brother who was on The Apprentice who had to do the same thing back in the day when he did it, they kind of knew when I said, look, it's a reality show. You got to sign off on this. They knew what was going on. I just couldn't acknowledge it. But yeah, you have to sign off on the NDA or else they won't let you talk about it on the show. Because I guess I can get sued for someone saying, libel or whatever. So, yeah. And it's not just me who had to sign my soul away when I went onto that show. All right, let's see. Patricia Miller is saying, do you think Zingbot will be on this season? Oh, yeah. And I'm sure he's going to have all kinds of I think it's a he, will have all kinds of things to say. Barbarella saying, did you catch the connection between Quinn and Zingbot in his introduction? If he's nice to Zingbot, he can't go to jury, right? What was this connection? Did he have like a big cutout Zingbot or something in his backyard? Something I don't remember what his connection was. I feel like it was some kind of cutout or something. But hold on, let me click this. See. If he is the voice of Zingbot, he can't go to jury, right? Was he the voice of Zingbot? I didn't realize that. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure Zingbot will show up. I hope Zingbot has a whole lot of ammo to deal with, so they don't need to be doing any kind of body shaming. Don't be making. Well, I don't even want to throw out examples because that wouldn't be fair on me either. Don't be pointing out anything with anyone in this house that you feel is beyond what they have control over, be it age, size, anything. Just don't be making jokes about body, anything. Make fun of the people who are crying. Make fun of the people that are going crazy in the house. Make fun of the people that double talk, that don't talk at all. There's so much that Zingbot can deal with. That's what you need to go after. And Quinn, yeah, Zingbot will have Quinn in his sights if he's still in the house. Now, here's the beauty. Quinn is going to embrace it. Whatever they say about him, he will take it and laugh about it and have a blast that he's just getting talked about. Some people maybe wouldn't be so receptive to it. Never fazed me. But yeah, let's not have any body shaming this year, Zingbot. That's one of my real critiques or criticisms I've got of that whole Zingbot little episode that we get every year. You don't need to be body shaming. All right, with that being said, let's see, 7:59. First of all, before I forget, Wednesday show's 2 hours. So whether you're recording it or you're going out somewhere and coming back to watch it, be prepared. It's a 2-hour episode. We're going to have so much stuff to watch. We're going to get to see the veto competition. Who knows what blow ups, all these AI instigator comments that we didn't get to see live and all of that. So 2-hour show Wednesday. It's going to be fantastic. And then it could be an incredible Thursday night episode. Again, just like the past 2 Thursdays, it could be another fun one. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. First of all, as I said at the beginning, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, hitting that thumbs up. It's always appreciated. And I will be back tomorrow morning to give you a recap on what happened overnight. Who knows? We may have self-evictions. We may have people throwing stuff at each other. I may have chairs falling from the roof or something. But I'll be there tomorrow morning to let you know what all's gone on overnight. Until then, my friends, y'all have a great rest of the week. I will talk to y'all again live next Monday. If you got any questions, shoot them to me. DM me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll try to answer them, or I'll hold them until next week, one or the other. Y'all have a great week. I will talk to y'all tomorrow morning or next Monday. Until then, SKD143. Cheers, my friends. Y'all have a good one. Bye, guys. Y'all have a great one. Oh, I love Big Brother. I'm ready to turn the live stream on as soon as I hang up with this thing. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Cheers, my friends.